let's go to number 5, and this is still a tower leg splice connection, creation connection. And prior to going to depth with that, let's first of all place the base plate for our tower leg. Now I'll come to applications and component here and just key in a base plate, and just click type base plate right there. So I'm going to pick the base plate 1042. Then I'm going to just pick the profile, then locate the position where I intend to place the base plate right there. So there we have our base plate. So I'll click interrupt to walk out of that macro. Then I'm going to double click on this green icon or a symbol of a connection. So the moment to click on that symbol, that will take you to editor dialog box or property dialog box of that particular connection or base plate editor dialog box. So we have it here. So in here we'll be able to add our preferred or our preferred details or customize the details here. So let me just click on H tab so that it displays the settings available on and what details can you add. You can see that you can add the extensions of the plate from that end to that end. If you come to second tab of parts, you can see you can feed in the length and width of the base plate right there. You can feed in the thickness of the plate right there. If I come to parameters here, design is turned off, bearing is turned off, but those are not part of our training, but they are not necessary at these stages. Now, our key issue here is to place the base plate and use the right details to come up the base plate right there. So I normally share. You can see we have anchor rods there. So anchor rods are available here, extra plates are available here, and we have bolts in place. So I normally save my settings in place so that I don't go back and forth and try to use some settings that might take some bit of time to see. So let me just to do that. Let me just I've seen default here, so let me just load that and see how does it look. So if I click on that, I'll be able to apply and give it an OK, and you can see we have these in place. We have this type of bolts in place, and if we come to view here and we come to navigate here, we can see we have the bolts in place plus the nuts in place. So this is kind of super. And if we double click on it once again, let's double click on it once again so that we set it further or we add more details to it. So let me just give some time to load all that information. Then if I come to this dialog box here and come to bolts or come to anchor bolts here and see what you have on the under anchor bolts here, you can see all the details available there. You can see that. And if I come to bolts now, so under the bolts you can see we have 4 bolts, and I need 1 bolt here and I need 1 bolt here. What do we do? Well, now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to add 3. So if I add 3, I'll see which side I'm having the 3rd bolt. So you can see it's super out of order. So what I'm going to do once again, I'm going to get I need to get this 350 divide by 2, and what I'm going to do, just a moment, and I'm going to divide that by 3. Let me just come to 350 and I'll divide 350 by 2. Let me just so that we'll have 175. So if you come to 175 here and add 3, let me try that. We have the 3 in place, so we have 3 in place. So once we've done, so we want to add another one here. We come here 175 right there, and make it 3. So if we key in 3 there and click modify, we'll see which one where it ends. So it's end there, and if I come to navigate and try to rotate that, you can see another bolt right inside. So we don't want to see that bolt. We don't want to see this bolt here. So what we are going to do is very simple. I'm going to delete it. So how do we delete it? We'll count the bolts. The bolts will start 1, 2, 3 all the way to 9. So we'll try here where does one start. Just key one here and click modify and see which bolt which bolt get deleted, that has been deleted. So we'll assume the one start from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll get to remove that and key in 5 and click modify. So you'll see the middle one disappears. So once it's done, so we'll always go ahead and click modify and click apply and give it an OK. So this one, we can save this one as 02. So once we've saved that 02, we can go ahead and click save as. Once you've saved that, we'll go ahead and click modify, give it an OK here, and click apply and give it an OK. Now, once you save that, that's our own setting we've just created. So we have that in place. So the next thing is that we'll apply this to all the legs. Now, that's aside. We want now to start splicing, creating splice connection here, L splice connection. And as I had told you, just key in 175 right there. And once you've done so, we are going to start placement of L-shaped splicing right there. So let me just double click on it so that we see how we can modify this further. So let me just give you some time to process that information, and I can come here and just use my previous settings, and let me just load that and see, because you don't want to spend so much time. If I click modify, let me see where we are. If I click OK, I'll be able to come to navigate, and I'll be able to turn that around, and we have our splice connection in place. You can see that the splice connection. And don't worry about the settings I had used. Let me just double click on it so that the settings will be displayed. And if you can apply the same things, the same details, it will be okay. You can see the entries, you can see under parts. I just left it at default, so I didn't enter any profile for the L profile. For the L, I just checked that and I left it on default. So if I come to bolts there, you can see all the details I had used, all the details I had used right there. On the general, just left it on default. On the design, just left it on default. So the key part is picture here, where you see the preview of this L splice. And this one also, you can probably just leave it on the default. And the bolt section, you can key in the details on how you want your splice to stretch. This defines the size, how lengthy the splicing plate should be. Then there you are. I'll click OK. So I think you've seen the details I had used. So I've spliced that. So I'm going to the next part. So I'll select on that, and I'll select on this and that, and splice has been created, and that is okay. If we see a green con, means the connection is perfect. And I go to the next one, and connection has been created. Then I'll go to this one, and some details tend to clash. So I'm going to double click in here and say the orange means it's not perfect, but averagely okay. So I'll come here and try change this to a different one and click modify. So that one turns even worse. So let me come to my previous one and click OK, and click load. Let me load that, and let me come to SPO3 and click OK. So this is somehow okay, but our editing, our modifications can begin from this from this part. So let's now get to details on how we can modify this. So once I've double clicked on that, I'll come straight to bolts here. So under the bolts, what you want to do is either to change the bolt pattern, like we can change here on that section, and on this section, and that section. So we can change the bolt pattern here. If I come there, maybe I can pick a different one. I click on that. Let me try that. And that is not well. It's not sitting well with everything. Let me try that. So that's kind of okay, but let's try once again. Once we've picked on that and change all the measurements, and pick on let me pick this. There, it was somewhere here. I think it is this one. It is this one. If you click modify, I think that it's slightly tend to pull into what we need. And what the next thing I'm going to do is properly play with the measurement and the size of the bolt. The size of the bolt will not change, as I can see everything here. Now I'll come here and probably try change this to 60. Change that to 60. that to 60 and see how this adapt to our changes we are going to make here. So let me just go ahead and click modify. So if I click modify, it gives some details that are not really adding value, and let me come here and try maybe change that to 1. Just leave it to 2 right there and click OK. Perfect. Let me come back and try change this to 45. Change this to 40. Change this one to 40 also. Let me just go the other side and change that to 40. So this one can also change to 40. This one also changing to 40. Let me just go ahead and click modify. So let's pick on this on the next topic, but on this on the next part under the same topic. And reason why is because I don't want to take so much time. And let's modify that on the next presentation. Let's meet then.